It's good. Thank you so much for braving the weather and coming
Ah,
out on this rainy day. Thank you for being here. And thanks to the folks that are watching online and the folks that will watch later on. Just welcome to the Ventura Center for Spiritual Living. I am Reverend Bonnie Rose, and this is Doreen
hello.
Pisano, practitioner, and she's going
Hello.
to fill in for Lonnie today.
Yes, it is. It's really great to see those that said yes to church this morning. But we know that even though you're online, you said yes too. You're just a little bit more huddled up, I guess. Right? I coffee. But we're so glad to have everybody here. And oh my God, we have Jay back in the house.
Yay,
We haven't had her in a
Jay.
while. So we're really excited about that. But everybody, thank you for being here. And it's wonderful to see you all. Just have a great service. Thank you.
Thank you. That's not, where is, oh, there he is. Hello. Mr. Bill.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Children want to come down with me today, or you don't have to if you don't want to. No? Yes?
All right.
Yes. So I'm Bill Hadris with Youth and Family. Surprise question for you. What moment are we in? Now? I like it. Like it. Yes. The present moment, right? It is the natural state of life. It's really the only moment we can be in. We can't go back to the past. And the future, it is here. However, our minds can get stuck in the past or stuck dreaming of things to come in the future. When this happens, we aren't fully aware of the present, our now. So, who wants to feel perfect? Got a couple. I got a couple. All right. Who wants to try it? Okay, a few more. So for those of you who raised your hand, you're welcome to join me, even if you didn't. I invite you to take a breath. If you'd like, close your eyes if it helps. You don't have to. Breathe again. And again. And again. Now think of what you can hear. Think of what you can smell. Can peek your eyes open. Think of things you can see. Can you count them in your mind? Think of what you are feeling, you are touching. Now, think of your happiest moment. A perfect day in a place or people you love. Or maybe everything on your vision board happening at once. Allow this moment to feel perfect. You are doing exactly what you want. Nothing is missing. Everything is right. This is the way life is supposed to feel. Perfect. This is what happens when we allow ourselves to be who we really are. It's our normal state of being. I invite you all to repeat after me. Now I let it be.
Now I let it be.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you.
Jay's wife and Jay's friend. Okay, all right. Okay. All right, so let's sing You Are the Face of God. This is for you. You are the face of God.
hold you in my
You are the face of God. You are the face of God. My heart will my heart. You are the part of me. You are the face of God. Yay. Thank you, everybody. We have Reverend Susan doing a prayer for us now.
And as I stand here, I see the practitioners and ministers standing with us, a moment of nowness, of wholeness, and just breathing in all of that love. Can you feel it circulating already? With what Bill said about breathing and listening with love. And knowing that this is the divine presence of source energy of the one, what I call God. I know that this love is the very truth of my being. It informs every cell and molecule of my body, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And knowing that this love is what I am, what each of us are. I know we are connected heart to heart. And as we breathe into that connection of love, I know it radiates out into Ventura, across the planet, because love is all there is. And as we stand present in this moment, aware that we are love, the I am says yes. Yes, you are, my precious being. And knowing that this is the truth, I accept it as so. And I know that this day unfolds in precious moments, in beautiful grace, and with the divine love, fulfilling its purpose by means of us. Knowing that this is so, I say thank you, God, and I release this word into that magnificent law of love that is always in action for the highest good of all. And I simply let it be, and together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Susan. Let us continue to breathe deeply and be here in the precious now, in this sacred moment that brought us together by divine appointment. We breathe, we relax, we let go, we remain present as we listen to the words of our sacred reading.
Addressing the Shadow. From Service Space, an artificial intelligence-generated wisdom teaching. Addressing the shadow in a kind manner begins with self-awareness and acceptance. It's about recognizing that we all have aspects of ourselves that we might not be proud of or comfortable with. These are parts of us that may have pushed aside or ignored, but they are still part of who we are. The first step is to acknowledge these shadows without judgment. This can be challenging, as it often involves confronting feelings or behaviors that we're not proud of. However, it's important to approach this process with compassion and understanding, both for ourselves and others. Next, we need to understand that our reactions to others often reflect our own shadows. If we find ourselves having a strong negative reaction to someone else, it's worth asking what aspect of ourselves this person might represent that we're unwilling to see. This can provide valuable insights into our own shadows. Finally, it's crucial to remember that dehumanizing others is a defensive mechanism that only perpetuates the cycle of negativity. Instead, we should strive to relate to others in a more human way, recognizing their inherent worth and dignity. This can help to heal relationships and foster a greater sense of understanding and empathy.
So it is. I think AI did pretty well with that one, don't you think? Yeah. Okay. So let's continue to breathe and to trust and to know the divine presence, the power, the love that is. And as we breathe in and breathe out, we recognize that we are part of the great I am. The I am, which is another name for God, or love, or spirit, or power. We anchor in this presence, we trust it, we allow it to be. And we become so full of this I am presence that we are called to sing of it. And so we sing, I am remembering who I am, knowing the presence of love in each of us, but also knowing it for every single person on the planet, every single being on the planet, every single molecule in the cosmos is the body and the love of God. And so together we sing, I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering. I am remembering who I am. 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 I am remembering. From that beautiful stillness, let us rest in the remembrance and know it to be our true being. And let us continue to remember as we breathe in deeply and exhale, gently opening our eyes as love, in love, and in service to what is, as it is, and so it is. Namaste.
headed in the right direction. I can see the light of day. I've got love as my connection. There's an angel showing me the way. Been reaching for love all my life. I couldn't find it, always one step behind it. Now I know it was mine all the time. Finally, I am headed in the right direction. I can see the light of day. I've got love as my protection. There's no need for me to be afraid. Spend so much time with my head in the clouds. I couldn't see it always happening to me. Now that I've got my feet on the ground, I've found that I am headed in the right direction. I can see the light of day. I've got faith and intuition telling me that I will be okay. Give it up for Chris, everybody. Down the path that I walk, there were eyes. Somebody told me that I look like I'm glowing. They just dried all the tears from my eyes. Now I can see now, headed in the right direction. I can see the light of day. Now I found my pearl of wisdom. There's no need for me to be afraid. Headed in the right direction. Headed in the right direction. Headed in the right direction. I could see the light of day.
All right. Thank you so much, Jade and Chris. Playing so beautifully and singing so beautifully. Really appreciate it. Thank you. So the talk today is through the lens of love. Through the lens of love. And we're working with this book called The Four Pivots by Dr. Sean A. Ginwright, PhD. It's Reimagining Justice, Reimagining Ourselves. And there's four principles that he talks about that we've been speaking about for the last week or so, month or so. This one is moving from lens to mirror. And the basic principle of that in terms of reimagining social justice and reimagining ourselves is that often we're used to looking through life through our biases, through our own particular lenses that we impose upon everything, right? He's suggesting that instead we treat life as a mirror and allow life to reflect back to us what we might be thinking, what might be going on in our hearts, what might be going on in our minds, et cetera, et cetera. So moving from lens to mirror. Now, in the book, he talks a lot about reimagining social justice, and part of the tradition here is that we believe that peace begins with us, that justice begins with us, and so we work on ourselves to be the place where peace can show up, to be the change that we wish to see in the world. So this talk today is very much about working on ourselves so that we can be purveyors and providers of peace, not only to ourselves, but to all beings everywhere. Because truly there is only one being here. Its name is God or spirit or higher power, whatever you want to call it. And as we change ourselves, the world around us changes. Okay. Okay. Speaking of mirrors, this is one of my favorite quotes. It's from Rumi, the poet Rumi, but it's as if God is speaking to Rumi and to us. And God said, "You have no idea how hard I've looked for a gift to bring you. Nothing seemed right. What's the point of bringing gold to the gold mine or water to the ocean? Everything I come up with was like taking spices to the Orient. It's no good giving my heart and my soul because you already have these. So I've brought you a mirror. Look at yourself and remember me, right? In that quote, God says, I've already given you everything. I can't give you anything extra. But I have offered you this mirror so that you can look at yourself and remember. Remember the truth of who you are. Here's the thing about mirrors. Anybody know who this is? It's a different picture. This is one of our employees that was here when I first started. Her name is Kristen. We used to call her Diggs. Okay, Mama Diggs was her nickname. And this is a more recent picture of her. But when she worked for us, she was about, 20, 22. She was bald. She had a shaved head, and she had tattoos all over her. She still does have the tattoos, but she's no longer got a shaved head. But anyway, she was just like a daughter to me. I just loved her so much. And one day, this is like my first 6 months or so of ministry. It was a Saturday morning, and I was at home working on my message for Sunday. And she called me up, and she said, Reverend Bonnie, I hate to disturb you, but there's a really bad smell in the church. She was blaming it on a person, okay? She said, there's somebody in the church who smells really bad. There were people all over the church doing things, renters, volunteers, etc. And then I asked her more. I said, Kristen, what about the smell? She said, it's everywhere. I go into the sanctuary, it's there. It's in my office. I go up in the balcony, it's there. I went into your office and it's there too. It's everywhere. What I said to her was, now, Kristen, sometimes when a smell follows us around, it means that we might be the source of that smell. She had a response to that as well. She said, I know, but I've been like fake dropping stuff and smelling my feet and smelling my own armpits. It's not me. I swear to God, Reverend Bonnie, it's not me. Well, it turned out that somebody was spreading fertilizer outside the church, so she thought that was one of our volunteers. Nice, the smell of fertilizer. She figured it out. But the point of this story is that wherever you go, there you are. If you have a bad smell or a difficult situation that seems to follow you everywhere, perhaps you are the source. It might be somebody spreading fertilizer, but you may be the source of that consciousness that is seeing life through a lens that is not working for you. Ernest Holmes wrote, life is a mirror that reflects images of our thinking. That's in the Science of Mind textbook. And guess what? If life is a mirror that reflects images of our thinking is everywhere, and also the mirror is everywhere. All of life is a mirror. You might hear one of our wisdom teachers, practitioner Linda Drevenstedt, say this in her talk, or in her class about mental equivalence. That's what we call that. Your life is a reflection of your thinking, of your projection, of your perception. Some people see that as a burden or as blame, but I think it's love. For God so loved the world, she gave us a mirror. The mirror is our friend. It reveals patterns in our life, patterns that we might want to adjust. And it's kind of a whack-a-mole prevention plan. Again, it's that thing of this situation or this person keeps popping up in my life, so I'm just going to slap at it until it goes away. What if that person keeps popping up in your life because there is something within us that attracts that person or that attracts that type of consciousness or that situation? You know, I'm not one for blaming the victim, but here's an example that I use for myself a lot. Has anybody ever dated the same guy or woman in a different outfit or different body many, 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 many times? Show of pinkies, please. Yeah, that's what I did early on. Not so much anymore, but early on, I kept dating the same bad boy over and over again. And it was usually some skank musician, excuse me, over there, but just, you know, I tried to go to the Christian church to meet a nice boy. Next thing you know, I'm on the back of a motorcycle with a guy in his trumpet, you know? We tend to have patterns in our lives that we repeat, and looking within can help us refrain from recreating those patterns, or at least responding to those patterns differently when we look at the mirror. So take a moment now to ask yourself, have you observed any patterns in your life? Have you observed anything that you keep repeating over and over again? What does the mirror of life reflect back to you? Last week I spoke about the inner critic. Mine evidently looks like Gilda Radner on a bad hair day. But we talked about how if we're self-critical, that self-criticism is reflected out in the world. It seems like others are criticizing us. And one of my teachers wrote that we can either create, allow, or promote what happens to us. We create our experience. Okay, when I was talking about dating all those bad boys, I kept recreating those experiences. With criticism, I noticed that the scenery would change. I would go to a different job, a different relationship, and the criticism remained the same. I still felt very vulnerable to criticism. There's nothing like writing a memoir to point that out, right? How the scenery keeps changing, but we're the same person over and over again. And so one of the things that I learned to do was to see that, yes, we can create what happens to us, but it's not like we're doing something bad. It's a gift that we can recognize when we're creating something that's happening to us. It's a gift where we can say, oh my goodness, God put me in this situation again, where I'm recreating a lot of sensitivity to criticism so I can learn how to be with it differently. How wonderful is that? Instead of blaming the critic, looking within. How do we allow things to happen? Perhaps some of you folks that are not encouraged by criticism, that are not a fan of criticism, perhaps you, like me, will sometimes take it in and repeat it over and over and over again. That's allowing that like a broken record, right? Anybody know what a broken record is? Am I the only old person that knows what that is? Okay. Oh, David knows. Okay, good. We're the same age. But anyway, that's something that just repeats and repeats and repeats. We're allowing ourselves to run that script over and over again, right? This one, how do we promote what happens in the mirror, what happens in life? I actually prefer the word participate with. How do we participate with what happens in life? And I've noticed for me, like with criticism, if I am not well rested, if I'm not well fed in a healthy manner, I'm more vulnerable to criticism. If I haven't been doing spiritual practice, I am more vulnerable to criticism. And sometimes when I'm more vulnerable to criticism, I act in a way that makes the critic dig in, right? I want to argue with them. I want to fight with them. I want to change them. So there's a million, probably an infinite number of ways that we can create, allow, and promote our reality, but it's up to us to do the inner work. Up to us to do the inner work of looking in the mirror and say, what is this reflecting back to me about myself? That's why when I bring us out of the I am remembering who I am, I say that little phrase about I open my eyes, sometimes I say as love, and in service to what is as it is. That doesn't mean resignation to what is. It's more about resiliency. We recognize who we are. We recognize that whatever is coming up, whether we like it or not, is a gift for us to go deeper and to learn. We greet it with compassion, and then we serve the one by working on ourselves. By changing what's out here, by changing what's in here. Most of all, relaxing and letting go and allowing Spirit's guidance. Whenever we talk about how we create our own reality, how we promote, create, allow our own reality, there is always someone, sometimes me, who says, am I doing it wrong? Am I deeply flawed? We don't want to blame or shame the victim. We don't want to blame or shame the person who is in distress, even if it's ourselves. And I see this across the board. I see it in ministers that have been ministering for 40 years. There is this tendency to think, I'm doing it wrong. My life is not working. I'm doing something wrong. In the older religions, they say it's because God hates me. God is mad at me. In our religion, we say, well, I'm flawed, which is basically saying I hate myself, right? I'm flawed and I can't take it. I'm ashamed of my flaws. That is not the case at all. If we feel like we're doing it wrong, that's probably shame. And we're probably doing it wrong because who is this? Linda Dye, one of our former practitioners who passed away several years ago. And the Linda Dye principle is what, people? We're all animals. We're all animals. We all have biological cells. We all have bodies. We all have an animal brain within us. Sometimes when my dog Bartok acts up, he steals shoes. That's his thing. Like, I can never find my shoes because the dog steals them and puts them all over the house. And when I find them, I've got like rows of shoes on counters and whatnot. But sometimes when people come over, they see all these shoes. When I catch him sometimes, he loves it when I act like he's doing something bad. I say to him, who's a horrible animal? Who's a horrible animal? What if we could say that to the inner critic, right? Who's a horrible animal? Because you say it with love, with affection, with humor, with joy. That was part of the point last week, was understanding that we're all in this together, and the comedy makes it so much easier to tolerate. We bring comedy to the situation to make it fun, so you can laugh at ourselves. So we're all animals. But the other thing that I noticed as I was contemplating this message is that we all have a shadow. We all have a shadow. Literally, we all have a shadow. Try going out in the sun. Not today. Try going out in the sun and see if you can escape your shadow. You can't. We all have a shadow, and as without, so within. So we have an inner shadow as well. But we get to reframe our concept of shadow, that it's just part of life. Like, we're all animals, we all have a shadow. And I also was led to contemplate our friend Peter Pan. Anybody know the story of Peter Pan? I had to reread part of it, but at one point, Peter Pan loses his shadow. And he's not like, yay, I lost my shadow. Peter Pan climbs in the window, which seems oddly creepy right now, given that I want to watch a lot of Law and Order SVU. And he climbs in the window where the children are sleeping, and on his way out, he loses his shadow. It gets stuck in the window, and some people say the dog took it, which is my preferred version. That sounds about right to me. But he loses his shadow, and he's so sad that he's lost his shadow. He cries that he's lost his shadow. So maybe we need a shadow. Maybe shadow is part of the wholeness as well. When Brother Bill up here was talking about perfection, right? Who wants to be perfect? The truth is that we are already perfect, because perfect means inclusive of everything. So shadow, light, wholeness, brokenness are all part of an inclusive wholeness. We all have a shadow. Learn to love it. And quit taking the fact that you have a shadow personally. I learned that from wisdom teacher Dina Sherry, who said, quit taking it personally. Q-tip. There's Dina Sherry. Next time you clean out your ears, or whatever you do with a Q-tip, perhaps do a little prayer. Today I will quit taking it personally, right? Quit taking what happens outside personally. Quit taking the fact that you have a shadow personally. Quit taking anything personally. It's all God. We don't take it personally in that we don't punish ourselves with it, but we can take responsibility for it with compassion and with joy, and see if we can make some new choices that are life-affirming, that lift us up, that bring us to a greater realization of our wholeness. This is that Rumi quote again with a little change at the end. You have no idea how hard I've looked for a gift to bring you. Remember, this is God talking here. You have no idea how hard I've looked for a gift to bring you. It's no good giving you my heart and my soul because you already have these. So I've brought you a shadow to guide you. Be vulnerable and courageous, and I would add compassionate enough to look at it, learn from it, and remember me. Remember the divine part within us, the divine self within us that is exactly who we are. And as our wisdom teacher Bernie Austin might say, shadow offers the gift of contrast. Am I correct? You might say that? Okay. Okay. Shadow offers a gift of contrast. Esther Hicks is big on this idea of contrast. And when something happens that we don't like, if it's revealing our shadow, the shadow actually shines a spotlight on that which is not wanted so that we can make choices to move towards what is wanted, so that we can raise our vibrational level to attract, align with, become that which we really want to be. And this works with individual concerns and also with global concerns. Now, Ernest Holmes, I was going to use this quote by Ernest Holmes. This is actually not Ernest Holmes, this is me. Published nowhere except here, thank you. But Ernest Holmes said, if you want to move out of the shadow, turn towards the light. That's awesome. But I would also add to that to say that possibly the reason that you have a shadow is that you are in the light. If you enter the light, you will experience a shadow. Embrace it. It's true, isn't it? Just before when I was talking about how everybody has a shadow, if we step into a light, we're going to have a shadow. And that's an allegory. It's a metaphor for if you are expanding in your life, in your consciousness, in your heart, if you're trying new things, the shadow will emerge. It's trying to keep you safe, but it's also trying to get you to look at yourself, get us to look at ourselves so that we can embrace it and love ourselves back into wholeness, back into the perception of wholeness, back into a greater vibrational field that attracts more of what is wanted versus what is not wanted. Love and remember the wholeness that we are, always. And remember the wholeness of others. Again, there's only one of us. So if we love God, we love our neighbor, and we love ourselves, we're really just loving the one. There is that famous, a story first. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. Okay, so this is not a picture of my neighbors. My neighbors look very much like that, though. These twin boys that are 7 years old. And they are often kicking their soccer ball over my fence, and they come to visit me. I've gotten to know them. I've learned their names. This is not a picture of them because I didn't want to use their picture without permission. I'm also not going to use their names without permission. So let's call them Ben and Ken. Ben and Ken. Oh, just enjoy that so much. Thank you for loving that picture with me. Thank you, Chris, for your patience. Thank you, Brian, for making the image. Here's my Academy Award speech. I'm going to switch the picture because we can't unsee that now, can we? So I'm going to go back to those two little boys, Ben and Ken. So for like 6 months, I couldn't tell them apart. I just would call either one of them Ben Ken, right? But as they kicked the ball over more, because I think they really like coming over to see me and to see Hugh, as they kicked the ball over more and more, I finally asked them, how do I tell you guys apart? And Ben said, I have a little freckle right here. And Ken said, I have a little freckle right here. So of course I put on my old lady glasses and I'm like, I can hardly see that freckle. What are you talking about? And then I go into teasing them and saying, wait, no, you say you're Ben, but I think you're really Ken. And I do it with the other one too. And they just laugh and they're so happy. And the fact is, the reason that I'm bringing this up is that they know who they are. They have been named at birth. Ben knows that he's Ben and Ken knows that he's Ken. And even if they look in the mirror, even if their next door neighbor says, I don't know if you're Ben because you look an awful lot like Ken over here, right? They know who they are. And the truth is that we can know who we are. We can remember our name, which may not be the name that you were given at birth. It may be something more like, something, my name is God's ecstasy. Say that with me. My name is God's ecstasy. And say this one with me. My name is God's fulfillment. My name is God's fulfillment. And then say this one. My name is God's extravagant goodwill. Now, you are welcome to take on any of these names or any names that you want. I don't recommend putting it on your driver's license or your passport, but just take on any name that is beautiful and blissful and blessed and live as if that truth were true. Wouldn't that be fun? Didn't you just feel the energy shift when we said, my name is God's ecstasy, right? If you got a grumpy God, get a bigger, better God, right? My name is God's fulfillment. If you have a God that is withholding, get a God that fulfills. My name is God's extravagant goodwill. If your God is stingy bad will, get a God with extravagant goodwill that he or she spreads all over the place and spreads through you so that you too can spread it around. We are that which inhabits brokenness and wholeness, light and shadow. We do not have to exclude any part of ourselves. In the reciprocity of this love that God has for us, our destiny is fulfilled. And the key word here is reciprocity, right? That's why I have that Mobius strip, because as God has loved us, God has given us everything. We can give everything back to God, and we give everything back to God by taking care of our brothers and sisters, as well as taking care of ourselves. Taking care of ourselves with great compassion, great kindness, great attention, great goodwill, great non-attachment. Reciprocity is loving God, self, and others, the three in one. Here in this center, I've been calling it Heartivism lately. We've been calling it Heartivism lately. And Heartivism is co-creating a culture of extravagant goodwill, kindness, and non-attachment for ourselves and for others. And the truth is, there is no other. There is only one of us here. So let us affirm together. Please read with me. I know who I am. I embrace shadow and light. I am God's ecstasy, all in all. I look at life through the lens of love. And so it is. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. All righty. So, hi, Doreen. Oh, I have to pray. Shoot, I forgot to pray. Okay, I'm a little discombobulated. Okay, all righty. So, let us pray. We turn within to trust and know this divine presence, this power that is love, that is goodwill, that is kindness, that is compassion, that is ecstasy, that is non-attachment. And we allow it to come into us to be who we are because it is already there. We draw our attention to realize that as we unify with that which we have never been separate. And so together in this place of goodness, the grace of being, let us know that our lives are changed from the inside out, that God is good and very good, and because this is so, life is good and very good. That we learn to mind the sweetness in adversity, that we learn to embrace the shadow with great tenderness and great love, knowing that it is a gift. And that we move into a place where we are fully alive, fully awake, fully making wise choices, fully being that which we are called to be, the love of God here on the planet Earth. We extend this love to ourselves, we extend this love to others, we extend this love to the globe, to the planet, to the cosmos, to anyone who is suffering, to anyone who is experiencing injustice or pain. We simply love as God loves, indiscriminately, allowing the love to flow through us in ways that are beyond our comprehension, and yet we still are the hands and the heart and the feet of God. How beautiful that is. And so I give thanks for this. I give thanks for this time together. I give thanks for everyone that said yes to being here this morning, being here physically present or watching on one of our media platforms. I give thanks for the transformation that I know is occurring in each of us and our world. And I give thanks for this teaching, for this beautiful teaching, and all of the wisdom teachers that we have here in this center. Each and every one of us is a wisdom teacher in some way. We all help each other. I give thanks for churches, synagogues, temples, mosques, ashrams, fundamentalists, atheists, agnostics. I bless all paths to God. And with a heart that is so filled with blessedness, I say, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, love. And I release these words into the divine mystery. And together we say, and so it is. Namaste.
Thank
Hello.
you. Oh, your mirror.
Yeah.
There's 3 powerful words in this denomination.
Yeah.
And so it is, right?
And so it is, right.
And how amazing is it to just know that if I'm feeling bad, God says, and so it is. If I'm feeling generous and God says, and so it is. That's our mirror,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
How wonderful. So just as you prepare your offering, just know that truly, no matter how big, how small, that God is saying yes and thank you for the generosity that is here in this community. And so together, as you prepare your offering, let's just say this affirmation. And this time when we say, and so it is at the end, let's just really know that we are fully abundant.
Yes.
Okay. So if you will hold your offering over your heart and repeat after me. We trust in spirit.
We trust in spirit.
Love is the giver and receiver of all that we are.
Love is the giver and receiver of all that we are.
We offer this gift.
We offer this gift.
It is an outer expression of our inner abundance and compassion.
It is an outer expression of our inner abundance and compassion.
Our gift blesses many.
Our gift blesses many.
And returns to us multiplied in miraculous ways.
And returns to us multiplied in miraculous ways.
So that we may give again.
So that we may give again.
And so it is.
And so it is. Yes.
The secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. Any fool can do it. There ain't nothing to it. Nobody knows how we got to the top of that hill. Since we're all on our way down, you might as well enjoy the ride. The secret of love is an opening up your heart. It's okay to feel afraid, but don't let it stand in your way no longer. 'Cause everyone knows that love is the only way. Since we're all on our way down, you might as well show some style. Give us a smile, isn't that a lovely ride? Oh, sliding down, gliding down, try not to try too hard, such a lovely ride. The thing about time is that time isn't really real. It's all on your point of view. Oh, how does it feel for you in there? Einstein said that he could never understand it all. Planets spinning through space, the smile on Lenny's face. Welcome to the human race. Isn't that a lovely ride? See me sliding down, gliding down. Try not to try too hard. It's such a lovely ride. No, no, no. It's a lovely ride. See me sliding down, gliding down. Try not to try too hard. such a lovely ride. The secret of life is enjoying the passage of time.
Time. And I will find them and share them with you. As they find the mic, yeah, I was gonna say, I think I'm not on, there we go. Now, because Reverend Bonnie talked about the mirror, she has a gift for you in the fellowship hall. There's a basket that has a mirror for you to take home to remember during the week what you learned today, right? So that it's not like, get it and forget it. Here you go. You've got a special gift to remember who you are. All the information I'm going to share is on the website. So if you will go to www.venturacsl.org, you can sign up for classes, learn when classes are, learn all you need to know about our wonderful center here. I don't think we have a flower dedication, so pass on that. Ambassadors are here to help answer any of your questions. They have a teal shawl. Here's Lacey. So if you have questions after service in the fellowship hall, look for Lacey or someone with a white shawl to ask the question, because we're here to serve you and whatever is your curiosity of the day. Now I'm going to talk about some of the classes. Are you a light leader? Now Bonnie's message was about the light and the shadow. So if you're more curious about how you bring your own light into the world, Susan Burrell, our wonderful Reverend Susan, is going to do a Zoom class. You don't have to get out of your jammies because it's going to be rainy all week. You can come to Zoom in your jammies. We love you any way you want to show up. And that's February 5 through 9. So that's this week. It starts at 9:30 and goes to 10:30. And I'm going to be there, be a servant for Teach Assist for Susan. So come and be with us and learn about the light in your life and how to make more of that part and love your shadow. So come with us and be on Zoom. If you've already signed up or if you sign up today, the link will be sent to you tonight through the email. Victim to Victory. I tell you what, when I first came to this teaching, the victim part was a really big part of my shadow. So learning to take your own self out of any victimhood, come to this class and learn. It's an hour and a half this Saturday. And Bill is going to be teaching, Bill Matthews and Gail Matthews are going to be teaching this class. Beautiful shining lights in our center here. So come to the class, Victim to Victory. And then my class, in the mid-'80s, I got introduced to this little booklet, this little tiny booklet that is the core of the class called Mental Equivalence. Now, that's a word that's kind of thrown around, and it seems a little scary. What the heck are you talking about? It basically is the principles of how do you change what your life is about now, possibly the shadow part, possibly anything you're not real happy with in life. What is the thought that is the mental equivalent? So it is what's pictured out here that is the mental equivalent. Also, if there are things you want in your life, how do I rearrange my thoughts so I attract more of what I want in my life? That's what mental equivalence is. It's been my little go-to booklet. I keep it on my bookshelf so I can pick it up and reread it over and over again. You will get a copy of the booklet and a delightful workbook. So come with us on Mondays, starting February, it's the 19th, 5 weeks on Monday evenings here from 6:30 to 8:30. So you will get transformational tools every week to take with you, again, to bring more of the light into your life. Our annual meeting is February the 25th, and it's after service. So if you come to the service, come, then get a cup of coffee, and then come in for our annual meeting. And we need a quorum, so I'm inviting everybody who's a member. If you're not a member, sign up, become a member, so you can be in the voting party. Lost and Found in the social hall. We got a lot of stuff in there. The concierge desk is there to also to serve you, answer questions. There's sign up if you don't like the internet, you don't like to get on the internet. You can sign up with a pen and a piece of paper and get into the classes and find out what you need at the concierge desk. Our wonderful choir has rehearsals here downstairs every Sunday from 11:30 to 12:30. And it's a let's see, what is the word? My husband's a choir person, audition. That's it. That's the word. It's a non-audition. So come as you are, bring the voice that you have, and they'll love you no matter what. After service, if you want to bring things for the service, like if you have a particular dietary interest, like vegan or vegetarian or something light, I mean, there's so many choices these days, right? Bring it and we'll help serve others with it. But other people have brought things for you to enjoy, a cup of coffee, a hot cup of tea, and enjoy visiting with others. Also, this is a big one for me being a practitioner. Every Sunday, there are volunteer practitioners who are here to hear your troubles, praise your joys, listen to and be in prayer with you, called 1 Minute Miracles. It is a fabulous way for you to be introduced to the power of prayer that we freely give and are trained as prayer partners with you every Sunday right here right after the service. So come get a miracle. And those at home who are watching, share us on Facebook Live and link with your friends. Let everybody know what's going on. And again, if you have any questions, we'll be in the fellowship hall at the concierge desk, or you can get online and find out more. I appreciate every one of you being here today in the rain and the chill, because I'm chilled standing here, even though I've got on good boots. So I will pray us out. If you'll just take a deep breath, just appreciating the presence that we all are here together, the presence that we are together online, the presence that we have people who could not be here, may not be here right now, but are a part of our community. I know that God is all there is, and that God presence that Bonnie talked to us about today is all there is. And in that one thought, our light is brighter. And that light of God that surrounds each of us today, even though the sun may not come out, I know that the message that Bonnie has shared with us, the fellowship that we are here together, and that we send out to all our online viewers and people that maybe didn't even get online but are a part of the community. We send that love and that light. We send it to warm everyone in this day today. And as each one of us warm our own light and it becomes brighter, we share it with the world. Any place that's darkness, that light can bring light and laughter and lightness for each of us. I'm so thankful for this teaching. I'm so thankful for the continued learning and unfolding and revealing that this message brings to me every time I go to a class, read a booklet, listen to an online something, and come here to service. I'm so thankful for all of it, to continually bringing the light into the life of me and everyone here. And I know as I release my words and we release ourselves out into the world, we take that light with us and share it not only with ourselves through our mirrors, but share it with the world. And together we say as we end, and so it is.
You are welcome here. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. You are welcome.